Good morning and welcome to Wilmington. How many people rode their bike here today? Right. On behalf of Mayor Williams, my name is Lenny Sofrin. I'm the planning director, and I welcome you all to Henry Valen DuPont Plaza. We're very excited for the Grand Prix to be here as well, again. But here this morning, we want to introduce the work that both the Delaware Department of Transportation and the City of Wilmington and consultants have worked on to reveal proposals to start a bike share program and the steps that will be necessary to implement a distribution of bicycles that would be available to citizens throughout the city. This is a program that's been quite successful in cities throughout the country in creating mobility and access for both younger people, even children, adults, people commuting, people who are going to their job. How many of you have had a chance to interact with the bike share program anywhere else? Right, a number. This is going to be an effort that involves the public and private sector collaborating. Both the State Department of Transportation and the City of Wilmington's Department of Public Works would be working hand in hand to build a network of bike stations where people would be able to, for a very small amount, pick up a bicycle, ride through the city, go from destination to destination, whether it be for employment or for recreation. And I think that this would begin to create a much more pedestrian-friendly city. So what I'd like to do is describe briefly how this is distributed through the city.
Can you go louder, Lenny?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm speaking about as loudly as I can before shouting. There's a volume. Let's turn this up. Hey, how about that? Thank you, Channel 22. One of the important goals of this bike share program is to be citywide, but we have to start where we have the most potential for it to be successful. It involves relationships between the business community and the government to find the resources to sponsor the bike stations, acquire the bicycles, and then to arrange for the mechanisms that people use to either swipe a card or, for example, for younger people to be able to receive passes, high school students getting to school, younger kids on the weekends, people who don't have an automobile being able to get to places of work. These are all patterns of use that complement the more recreational aspects of a bike share program for physical fitness and enjoyment, just traveling through the city. I'd like to show you that the concentration, and I think that it's E2, right?
Oh, sorry.
Introduce yourself so you know who you are.
Hey, good to meet you. Mauricio Hernandez with Tool Design Group. I'm the company that actually put together the implementation plan over here. And I don't know if you want me to talk about the facing.
Please, go ahead.
All right. I guess I'm going there. We're actually see that the concentration, the first stations, the first facing of the system will be kind of in the downtown area where most of the demand is going to go. Then within 1 to 3 years, we see the scope growing to other parts of the city. I do want to note that all of the stations that we proposed, these are just generalized locations. I know that everybody will be curious to comment about them. These are generalized locations, and all of the locations are located between quarter mile to half a mile from each other. That way, you'll allow people to walk to each of the stations if one is full or empty. we see that there's a lot of potential for different partners coming in. I know that Delta is here. We've also talked to DART and the city. They will always be a partner. So I will talk a little bit more about it later, but Lenny?
That's great. Thank you. Really, the bike share program is an integral part of a transit system for the city. So DART, bicycles, walking trails, making it safer to cross intersections that are busy, an improved set of crosswalk designs that are much more attractive. These are all pieces of a puzzle to make the city more walkable and a friendlier place for pedestrians. We traditionally have been a city that has been a commuter city for cars whizzing in and out. But if you go back in time before suburbanization, this city really was a very pedestrian-friendly city, and that's what we're trying to work towards. It helps connect our neighborhoods together. It helps connect people together. And I think that is one of the underlying principles that we're looking at, that the more walkable and bicycle-friendly the city is, the friendlier the city becomes, and the safer the city becomes because people know one another. So all these little pieces fit together. I'd like to see Drew.
Yep.
I'd like to introduce Drew Boyce. He's the Director of Planning for the Delaware Department of Transportation, and they've been a key player and sponsor and funder of this analysis.
So thank you on behalf of Secretary Cohen, the Department of Transportation. We are excited to be here, excited to give you guys the first look at this feasibility study on the bike share program. We really think that this is the next step in the evolution. We are working hard at the Department of Transportation to provide infrastructure to be able to make walking and biking more safe. We're working with our Department of Natural Resources to integrate the trail system with the on-street system so that we can create more options for folks to get in and around. But we're not done yet. We've still got a lot of work to do to make this mode more viable. We think that it's necessary. I mean, we can't sustain vehicles only on our transportation system. It has to be a network of the motor vehicle, walking, biking, and then transit. We see a lot of opportunities to integrate the bike share program with our transit system, and so the feasibility study has really given us that base data to really take it to the next level and really kind of dive in. As Lenny said, we're looking for partners. Efforts like this really require collaboration and partnership between both government and private industry. So we're to make it sustainable, viable, sustainable, we really need to get those partnerships in place, and so that's really the next step, is working on solidifying those and working towards the implementation plan. But we're excited about the work that we're doing here in the city as far as continuing to enhance the transportation system through the TE program, work with Lenny, work with Dave Blankenship. And so the department is committed to continue investing, into the transportation system. This is part of it, and we really think in the evolution of Delaware becoming even more bike friendly. This is the next logical step. And when we look holistically around the state, we think the city is the best place to start, but we're not keeping our vision short like that. We think that we can migrate this system, in other more urban areas throughout the state. We look at the resort area, we look at the central core, so we're excited about getting started, getting our foot in the door here, getting some success, and then continuing to expand. So appreciate you guys being here. Bike to Work Day, hopefully more than just today, every day Bike to Work Day, right? So I appreciate you guys being here. And so now I'll introduce from AAA.
Jim, thanks.
Jim.
Thanks, Drew. Hey, thank you. So I think as you've heard, it's all about partnerships. Now, AAA Mid-Atlantic, last Bike to Work Day, announced that we have a bicycle membership that allows, if you're riding your bike, you break down, we'll come and pick you up, just like we would with a car. Now, that partnership, that product that the AAA decided to offer, came about through working with people like Amy Wilburn at the Delaware Bicycle Council and the White Clay Bike Club. They approached us about the need for this service. we did focus groups. We found out exactly what the bicycle community would want, which is exactly what you heard here. This is all about partnerships to make this work. Everybody coming together for a great idea. Now, this is a very exciting announcement, and AAA is very pleased to see the city growing in such a way. As part of today, we also had a partnership last year that we started, and it still continues. We're talking about the 3-foot passing law. We're making sure that our members, Delaware motorists, know that this law exists. It's not just common courtesy to give people plenty of room when you're trying to overtake and pass a bicyclist. It's also the law. So this was, again, another great partnership that we've had. I think that Delaware, as I've heard, as I've talked to the cyclist that has been here today, Delaware motorists are indeed very courteous, what we're finding. They are giving you plenty of space. But you'll see these signs start to crop up again this summer, just reminding motorists, not just a courtesy, it's the law. So thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it back over to Mauricio, who's going to talk a little bit about the planning that went into this and the groups that are working together.
Well, hello again. I see so many friendly faces since the last time I was here. I'm kind of glad to be back in this semi-gorgeous day, considering we haven't seen the sun or it hasn't stopped raining for about 15 days, right? I wanted to talk about the plan and the phasing and what it all means for Wilmington and what we see. I know since the beginning of the project there were some concerns about potentially not having a full-blown bicycle network, comfortable bicycle network, but in the places that we worked in, even Philadelphia as a comparison, there hasn't been a full-blown network of bicycle facilities. So we do think that there should be a continued investment in it, and we see DelDOT and different partners here, the city itself, investing in more facilities. So we do think that once the project gets going, there will be there will be more investment in the bicycling infrastructure. As Lenny mentioned, I think some of the goals and objectives are going to be very important. From the get-go, the project focused on reaching to different parts of the city, different communities in the city, and the plan, the first phase of the plan, we do think that it focuses on that, reaching out to different communities, different minority communities, different economic communities. In terms of capital costs, we do see that it is an investment, a big investment of the city and its different partners. That being said, it can be compared to a drop in the bucket when compared to roadways. It'll be an investment, but a very good investment for more people to be walking and biking and making Wilmington even more walkable and bikeable. I do think that the continual investment on bicycle infrastructure, focusing on those interested but concerned, not us Lycra people. Sorry, I'm not wearing my Lycra today, but I do wear it all the time. It'll be important for us to continue pushing that forward. I see some folks that are reading our report. I'm not pointing fingers or anybody, but the report will be posted on the city's website very soon, very shortly. I believe it's Monday, and you'll be able to read everything that we are proposing. We are focusing on 30 stations. The first phase, the yellow phase, will be 20 stations, and then the second phase will be 10 stations, including those infill stations. As I mentioned before, to make it easier for residents to go from bike share station to bike share station, most of these stations are going to be located no more than a quarter mile from each other. So you could potentially just see one station here and see one 2 or 3 blocks away. Finally, I do want to point out that as with any project in the state, there will have to be additional partners. And we've been working with the city and DelDOT and even DART in terms of how we face the program and kind of figuring out who can run the program. And I do think that the bigger companies here will potentially be able to sponsor any of the bike share stations and the system itself. So I think the city will continue to work with those partners, and there will continue to strengthen those partnerships so that the program will be pushed. So that's basically it for me. I just, again, wanted to thank you all for being here. Thanks for Lenny and all of the folks here at the city and DelDOT for letting us be here. And I really hope to see bike share in the next couple of years over here. Thanks.
Just a final few thoughts. I want to emphasize that both the mayor and council are extremely interested in seeing this happen. I also want to add that the partners that Brian speaks about are not just the public entities like DelDOT and the Delaware Transit Corporation and the City of Wilmington, but as you may know, groups like Christiana Care and the Moors have been very involved in health-related issues and promoting a healthier lifestyle and a healthier community. And as you also know, it's healthcare costs that are really crippling so many parts of our community. So this is really an integral part of a larger effort to address health needs. And Christiana Care, Highmark, in fact, Highmark is one of the sponsors, I shouldn't say Highmark, but one of the sister companies of the Blue Cross Blue Shield network in Pittsburgh are the primary sponsors of Bike Share in Pittsburgh. I think it's Independence Health Care or Independence Blue Cross Blue Shield in Philadelphia, Citibank in New York. And so they have participated, representatives from these organizations have participated in the feasibility study and understand that to implement this is going to be a public-private partnership. And that's where the city's effort right now is focused on the dialogue with these entities to build a coalition to fund this project. I think that I want to just say in conclusion that the Departments of Public Works in the city and the Department of Transportation at the state level are really going to be working hand in hand to see how to implement this feasibility study. And I'm really, really, really glad you're here. Leah's raising her hand. Nothing? I really thank you all for being here. I'm glad the weather held up. And enjoy Bike to Work Day and the Grand Prix. Thank you very much.